Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikanhana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban, and the noob. Get ready for an episode that sucks. Because of the vacuum in it.
I was waiting.
Okay.
And we're a couple of magical people ready to moon cosmic power make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 94. Pure na kokoro o mamore, teki mikata mitsu tomoe ransen in Japanese. Protect the pure heart, the three-way battle, the English translation, and the English title, Swept Off Her Feet.
99.44% pure.
Yeah, you got it.
It sounds like a person with a Cockney accent saying pure. It's pure.
Kind of does. A little bit.
99.44% pure.
Trust me, I know the good stuff that I do. I sample it myself.
She only breaks it out. I have to draw it out of her, but she's got a world-class Cockney accent and she never uses it for anything. Hopefully this show doesn't suck. If you think that this show doesn't suck, our show, this episode, or just our show in general, you can contribute to us.
Yes.
And to yourself, to your quality of life, by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. Like our new inner senshi, Hudson. Welcome to the show, Hudson.
Thank you for supporting us, Hudson. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and Hudson has dropped in on the Discord, I believe, as well. And we've been talking to him, so you can join us there. But back to the original point, if you like what you hear on the show and you want to hear more, you can at our Patreon at patreon.com/Sailor Noob, where we've got extra content. We've got a whole different podcast, actually one or two, depending on how you look at it. Yeah. That runs every week, outtakes from the show, and more. So join us at patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
Mm-hmm. So, Cal, would you like to give us a breakdown of today's episode?
I will. The episode begins on a warm spring day.
I think
summer.
It's spring.
Who can tell anymore?
Yeah.
But it's warm. And Usagi is eating something in a cone, as is her wont. And she and Luna are in the park, and Luna is urging Usagi to get to her study session with the girls. Usagi feels like she's wasting her precious adolescence. She wishes she could go on a date with Mamo-chan, and vroom vroom, here he comes now. Mamo's motorcycle pulls up, and as Usagi runs happily towards it, she sees another girl on the back of it. And she doesn't watch this show, because she forgot that Motoki has a sister named Unazuki, who she literally met on the back of Mamoru's bike.
Yeah.
It's the same situation.
It's the same bit.
But that's okay. Usagi says, Unazuki-chan, why are you... That's it. We'll talk about our subs, our translation here maybe at the end of this, but it's just, why are you? Maybe why are you here? And, and Una says that Motoki is on a trip to Africa, perhaps?
Maybe.
Why don't they just go the extra mile or extra foot and just say, yeah, that's where he went. He went to see his girlfriend who's a scientist in Africa.
Right.
But he forgot the ticket. He left without the ticket. He was in a hurry. So Mamoru was driving by. Mamoru drove her to the station to meet Motoki, give him the ticket, and now they're here. And Usagi feels bad for being jealous, but not for long, because look at Mamu in that motorcycle jacket. So handsome. And as they flirt, we just push into Unazuki's face. Totally blank. The show is doing this recently. They are cutting to people for their reactions, but not forgetting to animate anything. It's just a still frame or there's just nothing. So I don't know
what's going on here.
There should be something. Maybe Usagi has absorbed all the animatedness because she's the one whose head is blowing up like a balloon and she's doing all the anime bits and she's taking all the drawing and reaction time away from our side characters.
That could be. Yeah, because last episode there was this long shot of Tuxedo Mask during the battle that you pointed out, and I went completely over my head when I was watching it. So
I just cut to him and he's like just shrugging and his hat's on crooked or do something. But he's just literally sitting there yep, That's it.
And that's a tuxedo mask.
But we get the idea that Unazuki is thinking. She's contemplating something. And it comes out later at the cafe where she works. Usagi is there enjoying a snack. And she's talking to Una. And Una asks Usagi if she has kissed Mamoru. And Usagi gets really embarrassed. And Una assumes because she's embarrassed that they haven't kissed. But Usagi also has trouble correcting her because I guess she's embarrassed about that too. Una says, well, it's probably for the best because you're in junior high. You've had entrance exams. And Usagi asks Una if she's had a kiss. And Una says that she has a boyfriend she does like, but hasn't kissed him yet. And Usagi's like, why not? And Una says she wants the moment to be perfect. She wants to save herself for kiss. Usagi seems...
That's the name of my band.
Disappointed? Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's taken already. But yeah. Usagi seems disappointed or dismayed at this prospect. I am not sure. She's not blank, but I don't know what I don't know what she feels
like
here. I think maybe she just feels jealous or upset once again that somebody else is able to elucidate their desires and dreams, and she has trouble with that.
That could be.
Never mind. I know why. A buttery laugh sounds from the table next to them, and we see Haruka and Michiru enjoying a cup of something. Haruka says, you guys are cute. And Michiru says, it's romantic. Do you know the story of the first kiss in history? The first people to kiss were Adam and Eve. I'm telling you, man, Jesus and T2.
I know.
It keeps happening.
It keeps happening.
Please stop sending your letters, your gifts, your care packages. We all know that I'm right at this point. Although to get some T2 in this scene, Haruka would have to stand up and pull the skin off her arm or something like that. But maybe we'll see that later. We see a vision of what Michiru is describing, and it's a silhouette of a short-haired guy kissing a girl with odango braids. So I think we know what's happening here. Yeah. Here's something else that's happening. I think it's a lie-down kiss. And I think they're nude?
Yep.
Whoa! Show!
I know.
What's going on?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Haruka says, there are many types of kisses. I'm listening. A kiss on the back of the hand, a kiss on the forehead, a kiss from a rose on the gray. Michiru says, in 15th century Italy, this is going to be my Michiru voice now. In 15th century Italy, if a couple kissed, they had to get married.
Wow.
And Una's like...
You really do not like Michiru.
Well, she's I don't know if it made it into our last show, but I've made not good comparisons to how Ami can get. There's the quiet, smart character. I don't know why they're always the same. Mm-hmm. But listen to that. So you join our Patreon. You can hear all that on the Patreon show. Una, in response to this, Una's like, boy, they were strict, which is like a low-key, really funny joke. Flowers appear behind Michiru, and she says, you must cherish your first kiss. Mm-hmm. And she looks across the table at Haruka, who brushes the teacups off the table. And no, it's, but she gives Michiru a very significant look. Then she looks at her watch and says, gotta go later. And they leave. And Usagi and Una watch them go, thinking they're so mature. And Una says, oh, I've got a lot of cakes at my house. You should come by my place with your friends and have some. And Usagi's like, cake.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess I kind of am a kid after all. Outside, Haruka says, a first kiss. And Michiru says, they're just so cute. It's so nice. We don't have time to fall in love, though. And Haruka says, honest girls like that are targets for the demon. We have to be careful. Mm-hmm. In the basement lab, Dr. Giggles is telling Kara Knight that she's failed quite a few times now, but does she have a target for the new demon egg? And Kara Knight says, yes, a pure-hearted girl who dreams of a first kiss. She's watching the show.
Apparently.
That's where she gets her great ideas from.
She bugged the restaurant or something.
Right. Out of the flower, we see it. Yeah, the microphone jammed in it. Dr. Giggles says, I haven't had a kiss in years. Ha 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 ha!
Yeah.
And he crushes the test tube that he's holding in his hand. Kara Knight is laughing too. Though she's thinking she's going to have to clean up that glass later. And order more test tubes.
Yeah.
At Unazuki's place, she's busy cleaning up, vacuuming with an elephant-themed vacuum cleaner. Mm-hmm. She looks at a picture of herself with some friends. We don't get a good look at them.
No.
But I think the implication is that maybe the boy is in this picture.
Yeah.
And she thinks, a first kiss. Am I overthinking this? And as she overthinks, a demon egg enters the room and her vacuum cleaner, which transforms into a sexy elephant-themed robot vacuum lady.
Yeah.
Whew. I've got some background of my own to share about what may have inspired this look, but I'll save it for Villain Cage.
Oh, okay.
The robot announces herself as o-soji, and she's got a little thing over her cleavage. It's the disc that has the buttons on it from the vacuum cleaner.
Yes.
And it goes, so opens up the cleavage. Reveals her star tattoo. She immediately steals Unazuki's heart and jumps out of the window triumphantly. She doesn't get far, though, because standing on top of the building are Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune. o-soji swaps out her hand for a nozzle attachment, and she blasts hurricane wind at the sailors, but they leap to safety. Uranus summons world shaking and knocks the heart crystal from the demon's hand. Uranus reaches out to grab it, but o-soji blasts her back with her vacuum arm. The crystal goes sailing across the rooftops, and all three go running after it. The crystal lands in a passing garbage truck on the street and drives off, and they're all frantically looking. They don't know where it's gone. And a passing dog seems to disturb the robot. A big fat dog goes, bark, bark, or
Yeah.
woof, woof. Robot's like, where is it? Weird things happening on the streets of Tokyo. The girls arrive at Are dogs afraid of, maybe they're afraid of vacuum cleaners?
I think maybe
the vacuum cleaner has to pick
yes.
up dog hair?
Yes. No, dogs don't like vacuum cleaners.
But the vacuum cleaner was afraid of the dog in this case.
I guess that's supposed to be a joke.
The bone was in the other bowl. Do you put bones in bowls?
Yes.
I never owned a dog.
I mean, only in cartoons.
The girl...
Do you put bones in
Why
bowls?
isn't dog food shaped like little bones?
You know, we used to feed my... I guess
just for the owners. The dog doesn't know. The dog's like, okay, whatever.
I guess this isn't really good for your
like
dog.
Like cartoon bones.
But we used to give my dog milk bones, and they're shaped like little bones.
There's a certain... okay, so this is just dog trivia that I've not verified. But there's a certain size. I don't know if it's large or small, so don't follow my advice. But beyond a certain point, the bones can't hurt them. And it has to do with I think a small dog can't even swallow a bone. So maybe it's if they're smaller. And then, or like maybe a large dog will bite the bone and it's not big enough to block his airway.
The whole point is...
Still, I don't know. Okay. Like, do you want...
The whole point is like they're supposed to
They were eating long before we
while.
came along. So, yeah. I mean, if a bone can pass through a dog's alimentary canal, then I say more power to the dog. And you should be afraid of him. Vacuum robot. The girls arrive at Una's house. They're all in their school clothes except for Ray, who is in a red mini dress and like a blue bodysuit or a top and leggings. It's cute. I don't know where her school uniform is. Did TA have half a day?
To a different...
TA had half a day.
Yeah. Maybe they were going over to Ray's, and then Usagi came over with a change of plans. And then Ray was
That's what it is.
I don't want to wear my shrine maiden outfit.
As they're standing... But she probably changed and was like, and like making little lemonades and getting ready. And then Usagi came in. Because at the door, they're all talking over each other. But you get the impression from what they're saying that they were told that they're going to study here. Yeah. And I don't know if Usagi said anything about cakes. Usagi has an ulterior motive here. So she probably went in and said, guys, let's go to Unazuki's house. She invited us over. And so Ray's probably like, I got all the things ready. All right, fine. And then already had changed because she rushed home from school.
Right.
Okay,
something like that. So.
Questions getting answered.
Okay.
Knowledge being absorbed. And also Makoto's like, I can't wait to clean Motoki's house for him again. Girl.
Yeah.
Come on.
Here's the weird thing though. So they're siblings, but on the outside of his apartment, it was like his first initial last name, and outside her apartment is first initial last name. So that makes me believe that they don't live together, even though she is definitely still in high school. So why is she living on her own? It doesn't make any sense.
Where are his parents?
Good question.
Dead like all the other parents.
Well, in the manga, they're not dead. And in the manga, their parents own
Game Center Crown. Look, you can work at a business you don't own. Japanese manga is giving kids an unrealistic expectation about their careers and future.
Mm-hmm. I know. And the Crown restaurant where Unazuki works.
Okay.
So they own both of those.
Well, maybe she moved in and she's like, he has moved. No, he hasn't moved. He's taking a trip. Maybe she's demanded that her first initial was on instead of his. And he's like, whatever.
Right.
Or he's like, sure, okay, no, I can't kill you. You're my sister. Because he's weird.
He's not weird.
This is my new bit. He wears the apron. He's in the shower with the apron.
Weird.
I mean, you gotta clean it off.
You're making it weird.
Just stick to it. No black lights in the house. Nobody answers the bell, so the girls all go inside, and they see Unazuki collapsed on the floor.
Yeah.
They rush to her side. They see that the heart crystal has been removed, but they've got no lead as to where it might be. Neither does o-soji, it would seem, as she tears down the street in search of the crystal.
Yes.
And I like, too, that she's running really fast, but she's like vacuuming. Also, she's vacuuming the street.
Yeah.
And it's either to pick up the crystal if it's there, or maybe, I think the suction of the hose is so powerful that it's pulling her along, like letting her run really fast.
Yeah, it could
like if you
be.
held on to the side of a car through the window and your legs were like going on the ground, but you're not running that fast, right? You weren't a kid in high school or a boy in high school, so I guess you wouldn't know. But anyway, kind of like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's giving her super speed. It's a nice touch.
Yeah, it is.
A light on the nozzle lights up.
Yeah.
She's found the direction the crystal's in, and she says, "It's a good thing I have a tick sensor," which is a really deep vacuum joke that I don't think anybody is going to get.
I can shed some light on
Well,
that,
tell me if I'm
perhaps.
right, if you know.
Okay.
It's a sensor that tells you how much dust that you're picking up, either for your own benefit, like say if you're cleaning like a light material where a lot of dust wouldn't show up, you're like, is this clean or not? And there's a thing that like, basically if the circuit's completed by, dust, it lights up. And if there's not a lot of dust, it doesn't light up, or it's a different color. And you're like, oh, this is clean. Or it's probably good for a Roomba too. Like, how does the Roomba know it's done? It doesn't have eyes. It can't look and see like, oh, the floor doesn't have any dust on it. So if the Roomba goes around a second time and this sensor isn't tripped, then it's like, okay, I'm done.
That's it. That's really interesting.
And in the translation, they say like ticks. A tick, is big. Well, I mean, like what we think of as a classical tick is big.
Right.
There are little ticks, like deer ticks, but like, yeah. But so so the translator uses ticks and mites interchangeably because they're probably talking about dust
confusing.
mites.
Right.
But she will call them ticks throughout the rest of the episode, which is strange. So, time for a new sub.
It might be. I know this is a little different.
Call in now, 1-900 Noob Sailor.
Yeah.
Should we go with a new sub?
Yeah. It might be a good idea.
Why are you?
Why are you?
Ami's using a RoboCop computer to track the heart. I don't know how, but she's tracked weird things before.
Yeah.
It's simply like she runs get to next act. .exe.
Yeah, right.
And we move to the next part. She says she's narrowed it down to a 10-kilometer area of Tokyo, which is like half of Tokyo. So, okay, guys, you take the left half, we'll take the right half. And as they get ready to start their search, Unazuki stirs in bed. Her eyes become hearts for a hot second, and she gets up saying, "Kiss! I want a kiss!" And she grabs Motoko and tries to do just that. Everybody's weirded out.
Yeah.
And it gets weirder when Usagi says, "Unazuki, remember that you were saving yourself for someone you truly love." I mean, we all love Makoto, right?
Who doesn't love Makoto?
Una says, I don't care who it is. Kiss, kiss, kiss. And Ami says, perhaps she became impure because her pure heart was stolen. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm on Monaco's side, who says, is that how it works?
Good question.
Real slut shamey, Amy.
Yeah.
Rei, the other religious fundamentalist, is all about this plan, though, and she slaps an ofuda over Una's mouth to spare them her kisses. Rei says she'll look after Una, and everyone else find the crystal. We get a montage of them looking in trash cans, looking in bushes. Like, it didn't fall out of her chest. Like, they should be looking for a demon, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ami does just that. She redeems herself by figuring out that they got to find the demon. She detects a demon nearby on her computer. Mamo pulls up in front of Usagi on his bike and offers to drive her to where the crystal is. And we see Mamoru and Usagi speeding on his bike. But this isn't an ocean love tour.
No.
They end up at the city dump. Usagi is dismayed, but we see a burst of wind inside the dump and o-soji facing off against Neptune and Uranus. Usagi transforms to Sailor Moon and joins the fray. Neptune and Uranus are in a pitched battle with the demon when Sailor Moon arrives to say, "A girl who dreams of a first kiss with a wonderful boy, I can't forgive you for stealing such a pure heart. In the name of the moon, I'll punish you." O-soji says, "I can't allow any ticks." Translator's note, mites. And she whips at Sailor Moon with her plug tail and blows her into the sky with her vacuum attachment. First she whips her, then she blows her. Uranus and... It's an Arrested Development joke. Uranus and Neptune press their attack, but o-soji fires full vacuum bags from her abdomen, clouding the battlefield with dust.
It's so great.
This vacuum's full.
Yeah.
Neptune and Uranus renew their attack, and Usagi thinks, I have to save Unazuki-chan. It looks bad for Neptune and Uranus, but a red rose knocks the crystal from o-soji's hand, even though she's holding it in the next time we see her. It's okay.
Yep.
Tuxedo Mask is sitting on a pile of parade floats, or something that is slightly higher than the pile of cars o-soji is on, so there. Also, there's a Tuxedo Mask statue in the pile.
I know!
This is like...
Who would throw that out?
Here we are at the Mardi Gras dump. It really only works once a year, but they work hard. Yeah. He says, a crystal of a pure heart does not fit someone with a soiled heart. Return the crystal and be buried with the scrap metal. And he's not like offering her like a deal here. It's just like, lose and die. Okay, cool.
Yeah, right.
Tuxedo Mask says, now Sailor Moon! And she gives o-soji the moon spiral heart attack. We get a sexy robot Lovely, and the demon is just an elephant vacuum cleaner again.
Yes.
Usagi moves to take the heart crystal, but she is restrained by Uranus. And just as Neptune is about to grab the crystal, Tuxedo Mask knocks it away with a rose and starts fighting Neptune. Usagi pleads that if they don't return the crystal, Unazuki will die. But Uranus says, I know that we're going to have casualties. Neptune says, it's our duty, and she dives down and scoops the crystal up. As she examines it, she says, this is not a talisman. And Usagi grabs it out of her hands. Uranus says, yeah, do what you want with it. And she and Neptune walk off into, well, the other part of the junkyard. There's no sunset. No sunset. And the other sailors arrive just in time. And Moon says, let's hurry back to Unazuki. In the other part of the junkyard, Uranus and Neptune are just hanging around observing this. And Neptune says, I wonder if the pure-hearted girl will be okay. And Uranus says, it's probably fine. Neptune says, I'm glad it wasn't a talisman. And Uranus gets mad at this. But Neptune says, this is the duty that we were given. But she seems unsure. Mm-hmm. Rose petals. Back at the Furuhaka residence, the girls return Unazuki's heart, and she's okay. And Makoto says, now she won't just kiss anyone. And she does that thing where she puts her arms behind her head, which is like supposed to be an innocent gesture. But when she's the one with the famous amount of talent, it's just weird.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying, but okay.
Well, there's some twisted sexual politics in this.
We'll talk about it.
We will in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Or maybe a minute. Minako says, you have to kiss someone you love. Not you too, Mina, no. Usagi says, yeah, in Italy, a boy and a girl kiss and they gotta marry. Minako says, yeah, but you've been kissing yourself, huh, with someone? And Amin's like, okay, guys, let's study.
Yeah.
On the balcony, Usagi meets with Mamoru, who says that he's happy she's okay. Usagi says, her dream is intact too. I'm glad I could protect it. Mamoru leans in to kiss her, and she asks him if he remembers their first kiss. And he seems embarrassed. And she's like, wait, don't you remember? No, Usagi, you don't remember.
See, that's how I interpret it, and I feel weird. And
I do too.
I don't like it.
Now's the part where we get to talk about it.
Yeah, because their first kiss in this life was when she was intoxicated at the ball.
Yes.
And it wasn't just juice, as the Deke dub would.
Give me that juice!
Give me that juice!
Who got the juice?
Yeah, let's do some more Arrested Development jokes here, because, come on!
I'm doing a suggestive wink, but the listeners can't see it.
Please stop making that face at me.
And I went back and I watched episode 22, The Ball, with the princess, and it's... We talked about it then. We'll talk about it really quick now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a no-no, but you have to understand the history that these characters have. Just because they were young adult lovers a million years ago doesn't mean that he can just kiss a junior high girl when she's hammered. Now, but when he is doing it, he is talking about the familiar feeling, and it's like he's been here before. These are all good pickup lines. And he is trying to, and we've seen him like wake up in a cold sweat and wonder what's wrong with him. He is trying to find a solution to this. He feels like his connection to this girl.
Yes.
He is the Snow White who wants to wake up you know. It doesn't mean that he gets to kiss a drunk, unconscious girl.
Yeah.
She's also semi-conscious.
Semi.
Yeah. Once again,
Well,
tell it to the judge. Tell it to the Juban judge.
So it was in the manga like this too.
Whoa!
And sorry, Nako. But I think you and I were talking about this off air, but it's supposed to bring to mind, you know, fairy tales like Sleeping Beauty and Snow White when Prince Charming kisses an unconscious princess, which is not great either.
Which we all agree does not work.
Yes.
And is why Disney is busy rewriting all their classic fairy tales.
Yeah. And I saw the
So they can put an easily excisable scene with a gay character in it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I saw that movie in China. I don't remember that character.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But I saw the episode in Crystal that's, you know, and Crystal's based off of the manga, and they didn't, because it's based off the manga, they didn't change it. They had an opportunity to do something else, and they chose to be faithful to the manga, and they didn't change it.
Crystal's a bad idea, but
that's another show.
Join the Patreon to hear us talk about our thoughts on Crystal.
Yeah.
So what do I do week after week? All I do is crow about how sexually progressive this is for 1994 at this point, I think, and how this is a story of female empowerment. What's this? What is this?
Okay, so a couple things.
I really don't. First of all, I'm not gonna. It's 1994, and we're talking about a bunch of 15-year-olds. I'm not gonna like start handing out the brochures and pamphlets about like sex positivity. Like, I'm totally like, let's all think before we drink and let a guy in a rented formal wear kiss us. You know, better to err on the side of like, well, let's be circumspect and let's take it slow. You've got your whole life ahead of you, right? But they are tying it to this weird morality thing. An evil robot born of a demon egg steals her heart. And suddenly she wants to kiss everybody. She's got love hearts in her eyes. We know what that means. That's some Pepe Le Pew stuff there.
Yeah, right.
So, and then everybody's like, no, don't do it. She's become bad now. In canon, it's bad because my slip that hurts evil spirits and things like works on you.
Yeah.
So she is like now lusty and bad.
No, you're right.
So like, what's that about?
It's...
Why aren't they handing out purity rings at the end of this?
Oh, God. I don't like... Your interpretation of that, I get what you're saying, and I don't like it. I think maybe what they are trying to say is that you should kiss somebody who you're really excited to kiss and not just kiss people to kiss people.
Okay,
but that wasn't what came across.
Right, but other than like peer pressure, I guess, or something worse, aren't you excited to kiss somebody that you're excited to kiss? Isn't part of Japan's problem? This is the Andy Rooney editorial segment of my rant. But isn't their problem that it is too big of a deal to them? Like it's
partially, yeah.
Go on a date with somebody that you fancy. It doesn't have to be.
You don't have to be over the moon.
Your true love, your Prince Charming or whatever. Right? It's reinforcing that idea, and I think that is harmful for young girls.
I think I agree, and I think that
plus just kiss Mikado, see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. try it out.
Right.
Unazuki, I think, is making too big of a deal.
Absolutely, but all she learns...
It has to be perfect.
Right, and then she is attacked by a demon robot, sexy vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
And she is saved by some girls, and the only thing she learns is, oh, thank God I didn't lose my kiss. I didn't lose my K card.
My first kiss. Yeah, my K card.
Well, I mean, what are we talking about here?
I know.
Right? So I get that it's important for teens or preteens, to anticipate this and want it to be special. And I don't want to take that away.
No,
but I do think that we need to send the message to teens and preteens that it's really not that big of a deal. It's a big deal, but it's not that big of a deal. Teens and preteens will never listen to adults. So all we can do is just try to get that across as much as possible and hope some of it penetrates. But not like that. Did you have something you were going to say?
I mean, it should be somebody that you like, but you don't have to, like you said, be over the moon about them. I wanted to know what your thoughts were about Michiru bringing up Adam and Eve and saying that they were the world's first kiss.
Arguably they were, right?
I mean, I guess.
If you believe that. All I can think of is it's tied to this is like the showrunner for this year, like a Christian or something like that. Like, I don't
There's
see.
not a new showrunner. It's the same guy.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, we joke about it, but I'm not. Listen, look at me. I'm not joking. I am the Christian captain now.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know.
like that is an undertone throughout all of this. And you could have said anything. You could have said Romeo and Juliet. They've already covered Snow White on the show, I guess. Sleeping Beauty. You know, there was a lady in a tower, and the man kissed her, and she woke up or something like that.
See,
you could do anything, but they literally went, "Let's go to the Bible, everyone." Go through the pages.
Yeah.
The Book of Genesis.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like. I haven't seen this show. I don't know how it pays off, but it must mean something.
Well, and then like
No, in the manga,
what?
chapter 12, verse 34.
Okay, all right, my Bible. The lie down kiss thing too. Is that because like Usagi and Mamoru are supposed to be like Adam and Eve, that they're naked, and I what? Because that happens during the same sequence that she's talking about it.
Yeah.
Why? I mean,
Japan crazy.
I just don't have any.
I have seen a 15-year-old's nipples thanks to Japan.
Yeah.
So thanks, Japan.
I'm uncomfortable by it, and it's like I didn't.
But why would Mishiro be talking about Mamoru and Usagi? It's what Usagi sees when she says that. That's in her mind.
Good point.
But not explicitly. It's not like we go to her mind and then it goes whoa, 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 wavy, and then we're in her mind. It's just the show cutting to something. Okay, I'm going to say suggestive, and I mean suggesting, but it's also suggestive. I thank you. And it's just cutting to that. We're trying to make me explain like montage and stuff like that. It's just
I just like
subjective, but it ties in with the Adam and Eve story, and it's very pointed. And how do you depict Adam and Eve? Not in like a blazer
nude.
and a performance fleece, and a nice blouse.
Yeah.
I mean, they're naked, right? So,
or they get fig leaves. I don't know. I mean, she's
stick-
got long hair.
she has odongos.
They could go over.
She has odongos.
Yeah,
If it was a random
I know.
man and a random woman, it would have just been, once upon a time, and we see like a storybook castle or something like that. But so I'm just assuming that it is in Usagi's imagination.
But like, okay, Usagi has odongos, but she's got the pigtails too. So her long pigtails could go over her nipples, and then we wouldn't see a 15-year-old nipples on.
She's imagining adult.
I guess
Adam and Eve.
Yeah, I guess.
You got away with it this time, Japan.
I'm a-watching you.
Ding dong. Okay, everybody get ready. He's here. Remember, ask him if he wants some sweet tea. And like you open the door and it's a pizza guy. And they open up the box and it says, "Screw you, feds." He's like, he got away again. We weren't able to catch that predator.
No, I should not be laughing. This is not funny. So Caliban, you finally show your face. Just in time for me to blow it off.
It's fitting you chose to hide in this abandoned movie theater, Mikanhana, because for you, the show's over.
Big talk, but soon you'll be as dead as all the well-loved celebrities we lost this year.
When I'm done, they'll be cleaning you off the walls like COVID-19.
Wait, where's your face mask?
I thought we were going to fight outside.
Oh, come on!
I mean, if the murder hornets aren't out there still.
Take this.
If you want to watch HBO Max on my phone.
I'll start cooking some beans in this old boot. Just Enough Trope. News, reviews, and apocalyptic views every Monday on the Just Enough Trope Network.
Won't the 5G kill us? Shh.
Today for Kyoro Kyoro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to talk about o-soji in Japan. So the name of the daimon in this episode is o-soji, and it is a reference...
Why do you keep saying o-soji? Are there two O's?
Well, okay.
Three O's?
It's a... Yes, all right. So it's elongated O both times, so that's why I'm saying it that way. But it's like o-soji. And the daimon, it's a slightly different pronunciation than the term, which I'm going to get to right now. So,
oh my God.
O-soji literally means big cleaning, and it typically happens at
Big cleaning.
Yes. So soji means to clean, and can in this case means big. Oki means big, large.
So the character on Star Trek Picard named Soji, their name means clean? The act of cleaning?
Well, but because that's just soji, not soji. We have the same dang thing here.
No, we don't.
With English.
Name a thing in English that's like that.
Well, I just mean you pronounce it slightly differently, and it's a completely different meaning.
We. And we.
Yeah, we as people, and then anyway.
We the people.
How about
there should be a roller coaster at Six Flags named We the People.
Okay. Wow. I can't think of a good example off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to think of something.
There are no good examples.
Okay.
That's why.
Well, but oki means large, so the O in this case means big. And it typically happens at the end of the calendar year, so you can start the new year off fresh, making sure that your home has been cleaned from top to bottom in time for New Year's Day. O-soji is very similar to spring cleaning in the West, which I think is interesting that this daimon's name is o-soji, and this takes place in the spring, but the act of o-soji happens in the winter, but whatever. O-soji is thought to have come from the year-end tradition of susuharai, which literally means to dust the soot away.
Huh.
This is a tradition that started during the Heian period, which was 794 to 1185, at the Imperial Palace, and was adapted by temples and shrines during the Muromachi period, which is 1336 to 1573, and made its way into all civilians' homes by the Edo period, which was 1603 to 1868. So we see this a lot. A lot of things start out with the royal family or the people in the upper classes in Japan, and then it slowly trickles down through the rest of society. During susuharai, one would clean the home or place of worship from top to bottom, cleaning up any soot or dust that had accumulated over the past year. During the Edo period, most homes had a sunken hearth and a fire stove, so there was a lot of soot built up. For Studio Ghibli fans out there, the spirits called susuharai, which means wandering soot, and are also known as soot sprites in one of the English translations. They're the round, pitch black, fuzzy-looking creatures with big eyes that appear in My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away. They are cute representations of the soot, and they're like soot spirits. It's a thing that Miyazaki came up with. It's not like seen in actual.
If they're so cute, I don't want to get rid of them.
That's how I feel. But in My Neighbor Totoro, the family moves into an old house that has not been lived in or cleaned for a really long time, and it was occupied by susuharai. And one of the first things that the family does is clean the house.
Is murder all the cute little spirits.
No, they don't. They don't murder all. They leave on their own. But anyways,
they just tip their fedoras.
Well,
Milady,
Wikipedia says
I'll be on my way then.
I don't remember this specifically happening, but I guess the susuharai sensed that they were good people and so decided to leave. I don't know if that's really. I think they were just like, there are people in our house now. Yeah, right. So let's find somewhere else to live, I guess.
We gotta beat
it. So going back to susuharai was typically done on December 13th. It was really difficult to get a consensus as to why exactly specifically December 13th. Even though I found that date in multiple different sources, the best reason that I came across was that that's the day that the palace did it. And so that tradition kind of continued. I did want to mention that New Year's was not celebrated officially with the Gregorian calendar in Japan starting January 1st, until 1873, which is after the Edo period. 20 years after Japan reopened to the West, New Year's was not celebrated on the lunar calendar anymore. It was celebrated on January 1st.
The translation of Auld Lang Syne would take another 20 years.
Right.
I don't even know what it means in my language.
I don't. Yeah, no kidding. The entire family would work together to clean their home in order to clean and prevent aki, or bad spirits, and welcome Toshigami, which is literally year god. The term Toshigami consists of two Chinese characters, Toshi meaning year and Kami. Toshigami are thought to be deities of the year, and they're believed to bring in each new year. And Toshigami are also thought to be spirits of ancestors. And they're basically, you want to be visited by Toshigami because they're supposed to bring you good luck in the coming year.
Huh.
So cleaning is a very big part of Japanese culture, and I just want to give a little bit of context for that. I think we've touched upon it in some ways, but we've talked previously about how cleanliness is a large part of Shintoism. Harai is the general term for ritual purification in Shinto. Harare is one of 4 essential elements involved in a Shinto ceremony. And the purpose in this purification is the purification of pollution or sins and uncleanliness. And these concepts include bad luck and disease, as well as guilt. Harai is often described as purification, but it is also known as an exorcism to be done before worship. Harare often involves symbolic washing with water, like we talked about before you enter a Shinto shrine or a Buddhist temple, or having a Shinto priest shake a large paper shaker called onusa, or harai gushi, over the object of purification. People, places, and objects can all be the object of harai. So... And it's just a big part of working at a temple or a shrine as well. We often do see rei sweeping, like that. That is a big part of working at a shrine or a temple. Like cleaning is a big part of just maintaining, and it's thought of as being a very spiritual practice as well.
Yeah, I guess that there's like a correlation between dirt and filth and sin
talked about,
and
yes,
negativity, which,
yes,
I guess, from a societal perspective, like makes sense. But,
I mean, we've talked about that before.
She's in my apartment. I'm a very naughty boy.
Yeah, well, we've talked about that with the creation myth with Shintoism, and that's how that was. And
Izumi took the cosmic broom and swept the heavens. I'm gonna get these soot spirits out of here.
I know. Well,
find a new home, guys.
I know, right? So cleaning is also a big part of Japanese Buddhism. Shokei Matsumoto, a Buddhist monk, stated, quote, "In Japanese Buddhism, we don't separate a self from its environment, and cleaning expresses our respect for and sense of wholeness with the world that surrounds us." Just to give you, I just wanted to give some context because it permeates the culture, because this is, I want to, Shintoism and Buddhism has trickled down. And we've also talked about before too, how young children are taught to clean in school and kind of like take care of and respect the school that they will learn in. Yeah. And so they're taught that it's important at a very young age. Today, o-soji is typically done a lot later than December 13th, even as late as December 31st, which is also known as Omisoka. which is a Japanese traditional celebration on the last day of the year. It's New Year's, but traditionally it was held on the final day of the 12th lunar month, and the last day of each month of the Japanese lunisolar calendar was historically named Misoka. Originally, Miso was written using different characters indicating the 30th day, though Misoka sometimes fell on the 29th due to varying lengths of the lunar month. The last day in the 12th lunar month is called Omisoka, with the O indicating it is the final last day of the month for that year, or the great 30th day. It should also be noted that o-soji is not just done within one's home, but at schools and work as well. Many schools and companies hold o-soji right before the Christmas holiday around December 23rd or 24th. The main thing is that it is completed before the end of the day on December 31st, and most people want to be relaxing, eating a luxurious meal that they spent
Christmas
all
shopping.
day.
I gotta get my Christmas cleaning in.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. It is not called the big cleaning for nothing. Parts of the home or workplace that are typically not cleaned, such as windows, ventilation fans, vents, hard to reach places, the ceiling, etc., all need to be cleaned during this time. Even if they appear to be clean, you clean them. Another important part of o-soji is the act of seiri, which is sorting through all items in a location and removing all unnecessary items from that area. Essentially, it is the decluttering and organizing of one's space. The TV show Tidying Up with Marie Kondo highlights seiri and shows how it should be done. As it's a good example anyways. Marie recommends going through all of a certain type of item at one time, for example, clothes. All clothing items should be placed in front of you, and Marie recommends picking up each item and asking yourself if this item sparks joy. In other words, is this make you happy? Will you find a use for this? Are you going to continue using this? That sort of thing. And if not, then you either give it away or you throw it out. We have also talked... What?
Nothing. There are things in my life that I know are popular, and they go into the shredder, or they go into the file that's other people's stuff. And the whole Marie Kondo thing is a big other people's stuff for me. Although I am surrounded by 20-year-old magazines in my studio here. So a lot of what Marie Kondo would call komono, which means miscellany. Things that you surround yourself with that don't bring you joy.
Yeah.
But all my stuff brings me joy.
Is that true?
So step off.
Okay.
Step off.
Okay,
Lady.
calm down. I have her book. I liked it. I watched her show. But still live in a mess. So there you go.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think o-soji sounds like kind of like a good idea, and I'm thinking maybe it might not be a bad idea to take on.
Let me know how that works out.
All right.
I'll hear the joy sparking from here.
Well, I mean, if you did want to take this on, listeners, you could do it this year. It's right around the corner. So just make sure you get all your cleaning supplies.
Don't sell her stuff. Wait till we have our own KonMari checklist.
I'm not selling Marie Kondo.
Yes, you're selling the Sailor Noob o-soji guide.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't realize. I just was saying the idea of o-soji.
How to evict the soot spirits.
Yeah,
but in
okay.
a nice way.
Yeah,
and
right.
we'll part as friends.
Yeah. You can give them the little sugar candy. It'll be fine. We have also talked about kami previously on the show quite a bit, which are gods or spirits within Shintoism, and the Japanese believe that there is kami within every natural being, i.e. animals, plants, rocks, etc. But what about man-made items?
Sure.
In Japanese folklore, tsukumogami, literally tool kami, are tools that have acquired a kami. Today, the term can also be written literally as 99 kami to emphasize the agedness.
99?
Yes, and I'll explain. In the present day, the term is typically thought of to be applied to any object, quote, that has reached its 100th birthday and thus become alive and self-aware. Perhaps this should go without saying, but tsukumogami are considered yokai. So I just wanted to get that out there. Tsukumogami appeared in a waka poem in the 9th century in the Tales of Issei. It is a compound of tsukumo, which is of unknown meaning, and kami, which means hair as well. The word kami, different word.
You crazy, Japan.
Yeah.
So,
but
all right,
we got
time to get to work on my punny Japanese salon names. That the Church of Hair.
Yeah,
or like Heavenly Tresses.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? If it's gods and hair, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I will double back on this later.
Okay, that sounds good. I mean, different kanji, but yeah, they're homophones. In the poem, it referred to an old woman's white hair. So tsukumo has been interpreted as meaning old, often symbolically represented as 99 years. So the word for hair in Japanese, kami, is a homophone of spirit or kami, but both may be pronounced gami in compound words. Thus, the word tsukumogami has come to mean a 99-year spirit. So that's why they're sometimes referred to as the 99 kami, because they're about to become 100 and then become sentient.
All right. So why is my tool talking to me? My drill the other day was going, woo.
You should be worried.
These modern things aren't 100 years old.
No, I know. I read something.
Unless it's like an old saw or something like that. Because I mean, like when you think about tools have been around since they've been building things, houses, whatever.
Yes.
So I can see that. But like,
this is an old idea.
Yeah,
like,
but yeah, right. But is it applied to like, oh, yeah, my power drill has got a real kami in there?
Not really. But this is something that you will see a lot of this in anime and manga. Just like they'll be like, oh, here's a random yokai, or like, here's this character, and there have been a lot of visual artists specifically who have been like, if I were to make a tsukumogami of a modern object, what would that look like? So, people have fun with it.
Mr. Drill.
Yeah, right. But I do think you have to keep in mind that it was typical to you passed these tools down, you passed these items down, so it was maybe not unusual for things to be 100 years old. I don't know why that was the marker right there, but that was it.
Huh.
So, yeah.
This is a Black and Decker. It's just so weird because they've got like the giant skeleton and they got the kid with the one eye and they have so many like interesting yokai and they're like, no, my hammer is just totally.
Yeah, I know. Well, I read somewhere, but I only saw it in one place, that supposedly, and this seems like a modern thing because electricity's only been around for how long, but supposedly,
200 years. But
tsukumogami don't like electricity, so things that run an electrical
which is
current,
ironic because they literally can run themselves.
Right.
That's why we have a Christine or a maximum overdrive.
Right.
But they're like, no, only things that don't move.
Things that
things
that
would
not,
never ever
right.
move. This anvil, lousy with spirits.
Yes. Yeah, right.
That's
exactly.
Convenient.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but like I said, I only saw that in one place, so I don't know the validity of that. But tsukumogami are typically harmless. However, they are said to play small pranks. They are capable of becoming angry and can work with other tsukumogami to take revenge against their previous owners who threw them away or didn't treat them well.
Oh.
So treat your trolls with respect.
Is this like Gremlins? Not Joe Dante Gremlins, but the idea of machines have gremlins in them.
Maybe, but again, these are objects that aren't machines. So,
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
So not that.
Not that.
Sorry, Dick Miller. Looks like your snowplow is safe.
But a regular plow, like an old-timey plow.
Right.
Whoa, watch out. For this reason, ceremonies are still performed to this day to console broken and or unusable objects. One of the most common objects in these ceremonies today are dolls. We talked a long time ago about Dolls Day or Hina Matsuri, and a big part of that is displaying elaborate displays of dolls, which are often passed down as heirlooms, so could be well over 100 years old. At these ceremonies, people pray for the item and thank it. Sometimes the items are also burned, but the main reason for these ceremonies...
Thanks.
Yeah, I know. It's a little like, wait a minute, what? Thank you for giving all the fond memories, and please don't bother me. But the main reason for these ceremonies is to show appreciation to an object and to say goodbye to it. And I did want to mention Marie Kondo one more time.
I was just going to say, I never watched the Marie Kondo, but is the last act of the show, they just go out behind the house and there's like a barrel fire and they just you do not spark joy. Thank you.
No, that would be funny if somebody did joke on that, but you just did. Part of her method is once you've decided that you do not want to keep an item, you thank it. So, yes, this helps to relieve guilt, but I think that it is also linked to the idea of tsukumogami and not wanting the object to haunt you later. I seriously do.
Into the barrel with you.
You thank it, and you set it aside, you feel a little bit better, a little bit lighter. Also, it's not going to be haunting you. Some well-known tsukumogami are bakezori, a zori or straw sandal with 2 arms, 2 legs, and 1 eye. Sometimes they have a mouth and a large tongue. A lot of these ones these particular ones sound very similar. Chochin obake is a chochin lantern that often has 1 eye, sometimes 2, and a large tongue coming out of a hole in the lantern. So essentially, the lantern, which is either paper or satin, has ripped, and that has become its mouth, and it has a tongue.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah. And kasa obake, usually umbrellas with 1 eye, a mouth, a long tongue, and 1 leg coming out. That's the handle. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. And sometimes they have 2 arms as well. And there's one that's like a broken tea kettle, and there's one that's like a sake pot. Apparently the sake one isn't so bad because it keeps refilling itself. I mean, when you want ever-flowing sake around, I don't know. But if it's bothering you and playing pranks,
yeah. I mean, the prank is you're hammered and you got work. I
guess.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's causing chaos.
Right. So, keep your eyes out though. Chances are you've probably seen some tsukumogami in an anime or manga, maybe in the background. Tanpoko, which is another Studio Ghibli film, they have a yokai parade at one point.
Yeah.
And there's definitely Kasa Obake in that. And I've definitely seen the Lantern Guys, just on stuff. I don't know. Huh. I can't tell you where. I just oh, that guy.
Sure.
Treat your stuff with respect, everybody.
Into the barrel.
Yes. Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? So the cone-like thing she was eating in the park that she just throws to the side because who wants food when Mamo's around? That's a crepe. She's eating a Japanese crepe.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they're like, they're kind of rolled up, but this was just sort of like
sometimes they
folded
just,
over.
Yeah, sometimes
square.
they depict them just like cone-like. It's always like in a wrapper.
Yeah, well, it's in a cone, but then
Yeah.
often they're wrapped themselves in a cone, and then you put the whatever you've got, the fruit or the whipped cream in the
this was
middle.
just like they just made it look like cream.
Big slab of crepe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't really exciting, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And then at the restaurant Crown, Usagi had a large parfait, and Haruka and Michiru drank coffee or tea because they're really mature.
They're refined.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
mature.
And then Usagi just spazzes out over cake. And brings everybody over to.
I was gonna say I didn't see any
Unazuki's.
cakes at the end of this thing.
No, good
it's,
point.
We have to have this creepy, weird scene that's hard to parse of them on the balcony at the end. Nobody was talking about anything. Nobody
I know.
needed to see that. It would have been easy to just have her finally diving into these cakes. Reward for a job well done.
Or
But
like
I can't believe that there was a promise of cake. Usagi actually organized a field trip to another location for cakes.
It's true.
And then I don't see no cakes. Where are the
well,
cakes?
and then like nobody was like came and rescued her or rescued
Oh my
Mamo
God.
from like, hey, Usagi, there's cake in here.
Unazuki-chan, you're okay. Don't get those cakes.
Oh, I don't want
Get those cakes
that. I was promised cake. Get
Promised
really
cake. I don't
super
see any
serious.
cakes around here.
Yeah. Villain gauge, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The droid in this episode, we just talked about her. Her name is o-soji, and her character design. I think they had a lot of fun with this one. It started with the elephant-shaped vacuum cleaner and just went from there. She's basically the vacuum cleaner personified. She's got blue skin and pointy elf-like ears for some reason.
I think like 1 in every 2
Yeah.
monsters has pointed ears.
Yeah, that's true.
She's also got like a green mouth. The inside of her mouth is green.
What?
And then her
I didn't
eyes are
notice that.
like yellow, like a yellowish green.
Yeah,
like
that's
a
weird.
chartreuse. But not like just the pupils of her, or maybe the whole center part of her eyes.
Huh.
So there's a lot of like shades of kind of cooler aqua colors.
Yeah, it's interesting. And she's got a lot of heavy makeup. Like she's got heavy pink blush. Like it is just pink. And she's got red lipstick and orange eyeshadow. And she's got a purple bodysuit with that's just a vacuum cleaner, basically, with a vacuum cleaner hoses as straps, which is really cute. And pink wheels attached to her hips. The cute elephant vacuum cleaner face became her hat, and his little trunk, also a vacuum hose, goes into her back. And she has knee-high purple tights, black pumps, a black anklet, and a matching black choker. She has long arm warmers, I guess, because it's essentially like it's like gloves without the glove part. What do you call that? Like arm warmers? I don't know what else to call that. Because it's not really an armband.
No, it's they're sleeves. They're just not attached to anything.
Not attached to anything? Yeah.
And of course they are meant to remind you of the arm of a vacuum.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she has attachments that can go onto them,
Right.
which is really great. Cal, did you have more facts about our daemon?
I do. So this maybe is a reach, but I don't think so. And I've got the research to prove it.
Okay.
This Yoma, not a Yoma, I guess they're all monsters, but this demon has a very specific look. And I think that it's related to the illustrations of artist Hajime Sorayama, who is
Okay.
an illustrator and pinup artist who is very famous for a certain generation of nerds and like coked out 80s stockbrokers.
Okay.
Sorayama is an illustrator. He's an artist. He got his start in the 70s, and he was doing like pinup girls like cheesecakey type art, based kind of on Western stuff. And at one point he was asked by his boss or his publisher to do like a robot type character, and they wanted a C-3PO type.
Okay.
But for some reason, at the last second, they're like, oh, wait a minute, George Lucas will sue us. Don't do C-3PO. I don't know. Have fun with it and do your own thing.
Okay.
And he came up with a sexy robot.
Sure.
And it was essentially like what is essentially a pinup woman, lady in like a pink swimsuit, but she was a chrome robot. And he does these like airbrush painting type things, very detailed. I'm sure he's still around. He probably works in digital now, but at the time it was like these very vibrant, very clean lines and the shininess of the chrome. And it caught on, and you would see these a lot in the 80s, on dorm walls, or, he released a couple books. His first art book was called Sexy Robot, which is a collection of his sexy robots. That was in 1983. And so, yeah, it was like chrome plated gynoids.
Okay.
And his work has, it's kind of waned in popularity, or waxed and waned, but it's still sort of if you Google like sexy robot, this will come up still. His artwork, he did the cover for the Aerosmith album, Just Push Play.
Okay.
He also worked as a designer on some Hollywood films like Time Cop. And he was consulted by Sony to help design the Aibo robot dog.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
if sexy robot lady had a dog, it's right there.
There you go.
It's the Aibo.
Well, this sexy robot lady was afraid of a dog, so there you go.
And it's got very similar... Oh, that's it!
Is that what it is, do you think?
No, because Aibo was not made in the 90s, but... Yeah, they were thinking ahead. The dog thing was already in her future. And so it's just very similar. The fact that she's got like the totally bald head,
Yeah.
but there's still the line of it's like a hat or something. In this case, it's, the carapace of the vacuum cleaner, but it still
Right.
has that same idea. Just the proportions, the things, on her hips and everything. I thought I'd mention our old pal Thierry Mugler might have a connection here as well. Mugler is a fashion designer that we've talked about on the show before. He's famous for his outlandish designs. He famously likes using metals in his work. And in 1992, he directed the video for George Michael's Too Funky, which featured supermodels wearing his designs, including a robot lady who was very reminiscent of Sorayama's work.
Okay.
That same totally smooth head with the things coming out of the ears, the metal bustier.
I mean, that's essentially what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that look and other metallic robot looks, as well as some of the looks that inspired some other looks in Sailor Moon that we talked about before,
Yeah.
were all featured in this huge like fall show he did in 1995. Which was, he had always thrown big shows, but for some reason this one was like really big. It was like 3 hours long and had
my
like all these
gosh.
models and stuff. And Lady Gaga would wear the robot outfit for her 2009 video for Paparazzi.
Oh.
After she recovers from the attempt of Alexander Skarsgård trying to murder her, she's on crutches.
how can you recover from
and
that?
all the paparazzi are around her, and she's got the metal bustier, and I think she's got the head thing, but maybe not. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And Cara Delevingne would also wear Mugler robot designs for a spread in the August 2017 issue of British GQ to promote Valerian.
All right.
And she's interviewed by Luc Besson, which could happen in 2017, could not happen now. Not a good person.
So now we're up to our rating.
No, we're not. Did you talk about her plugged tail?
Her plugged tail?
She has
yeah,
a-
that's right.
She has her plug is her tail.
Her plug is her tail. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, a cosplay of this would be really fun, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think it would
It'd
be,
be very uncomfortable.
well,
Moderately uncomfortable.
a lot of heavy stuff and a good deal of nudity. But I think it would be pretty easy. Because the pieces are, they're not particularly detailed. It's not like the barber pole lady. So that'd be tough. But yeah, you just, I don't know however you mold or create parts for cosplay, if you're a robot, if it's 3D printing or whatever it is. Yeah, you could make a couple pieces together, paint the little elephant head on the thing, and a couple hoses on your boobs, and you're good to go. She's got a necklace, and I was mystified by this necklace. I went as far as I could, and I couldn't find anything. But at one point we see that it's got like a pendant, and it looks like the letter Z-O, and I don't know what it is.
Do you know how you say elephant in Japanese?
Elefento?
Zo. Z-O.
Oh, I thought she was a big Led Zeppelin fan. I don't feel like explaining.
Okay. All right.
Zozo, their fourth album.
Oh, okay.
It's just called Led Zeppelin or Led Zeppelin 4, but then the band all picked fake astrological symbols to represent them, so it's called Zozo.
Okay. Interesting.
Is it interesting? Are you 52? Would it then be interesting to you?
It's
if you were at Woodstock?
Interesting. I mean, look, astrological signs, I think everybody was talking about them then.
Yeah, but you don't make up your own.
Well, if you're Led Zeppelin and you're like, screw you do.
I guess you do.
Yeah.
Although they probably copied them from some blues artist that made up his own. That's another Led Zeppelin joke.
Oh, okay. All right. So her transformation, I both love it and find it absolutely terrifying when the daemon is transforming from the vacuum to a person. Like the legs coming out of the vacuum cleaner. I don't ever want to see a vacuum cleaner sprouting legs. I mean, that is the beginning of a horror film.
I don't have a Terminator connection for that, but it is scary, and it emphasizes the almost insectoid robot nature of. Later, she's a sexy lady like they all are, but when it first comes out, it's like a horror movie. Yeah.
It is. But it made me think. Maybe also they're kind of exploring her being a tsukumogami because she was an object and now she's becoming a. I don't know. A lot of them have
you gave up on that real fast.
One leg or something like that. So I don't know. I just thought maybe
you gave up on that real fast. I don't know. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I guess, by your own standards,
it would have to be 100-year-old vacuum, and
it would have to be a electrical thing,
I know.
Right?
Yeah. According to the one source, but yes. I love how she uses attachments and she uses the features of the vacuum cleaner, apparently searching for the crystal using the function that you were talking about, the might function. And the throwing the bags at Uranus and Neptune, that was just hilarious.
Well, guys, we're out. I can't think of anything else that a vacuum cleaner does.
Yeah.
Maybe dogs are scared by it. Okay.
Throw it in there.
But what if she's scared by the dog?
I like it.
It's going to be something extra in your paycheck.
I know.
Nice work.
I know. She's not particularly good at her job because she loses the crystal. That's
to
her
be
one
fair,
thing.
she is double teamed and it's knocked
is.
out of her hand, but she finds it and she goes after it.
Yes.
And speaking of that double team, she basically holds them off.
She does.
Until Tuxedo Mask, does his legally mandated thing to remind Sailor Moon that she can destroy anything by waving her wand around.
I know. That's true. She does hold her own, and I think that her design is a lot of fun. I like it a lot. I feel like I really, really like her. It's so hard for me to rate things sometimes, but I think I'm going to give her a 4 out of 5 dark stars.
I don't think that is unfair, and I would probably also give her a 4. I was too distracted by the other weird and, to me, unsettling things that were going on to focus on her, and it wasn't until I sat down to sort of get some notes together and think about the episode that I thought, oh, this is really good Yoma.
Yeah.
Now, I'm recording this now. Why can't I just give her a 5 since I've already thought about that? No, I think it already melted or froze into the wrong shape. The mold is already sort of slanted, the Jell-O mold here. Yeah. And so I'm going to go 4, but I would say strong. I like all the Yoma can do this, but it actually makes sense because it's her. She sucks the heart out. Maybe that's why it goes so fast.
Yeah,
it also goes
maybe.
fast because we're like 4 or 5 into this now and we get what happens.
Yeah.
But just, for her idiom, it's like, okay, I got the heart.
Yeah, exactly.
I love her attachments. I love that she could, take her hand off or it sucks in and then she pokes the thing on there.
That's fantastic.
And if only they had one thing where it's maybe Sailor Moon's hiding between 2 cars in the junkyard and then she puts on the narrow space attachment to get into the, if they did something like that. But
that would have been great.
But yeah, that was really great. The plug tail is just really cute. And then, of course, it's functional as well. She continues that tradition of these daemons having a lot of weapons. It isn't just,
yes,
I do one thing, I'm a big scissors man or something like that.
Right.
It's they all have a lot of things. They take several people to sort of hold them down and kill them. And I think that's really neat. Plus, she's a Zeppelin fan. So, what can I say? Somebody after my own heart. I got to give her a 4.
Okay. For Farewell, My Lovely, where we rate their lovely, how they go out, how they leave us, I am going to give her 4 out of 5 because I think she really did not want to die. And she threw her hand up in the air so she could hang on a little longer, but it was not good enough. And I appreciate that passion, and so that's why I'm giving her 4.
I got to give her a 2.
Oh!
And my job now is to convince you that this is just. I think it's a little. I think that, like I said, I like her Yoma. People know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we know.
This is a strong concept.
Yeah,
but I can't remember if I like or hate the barber pole lady, but I've been bringing her up a lot lately. But maybe like or possibly unlike the barber pole lady.
Yeah,
it's used to the hilt.
It is
much in a puzzle kitty uwu.
Yeah.
Like that. Like they sat down and they went, what are all the things that we could get out of this that are cool things that she could do?
Mm-hmm.
And they do that. And so that's why she's a 4. Why she's a 2 for Farewell, My Lovely is it's a little too basic. She sees death coming, but I don't see anything in her eyes. I like it when every once in a while we get a Yoma that's like, shoot,
right.
I'm going to die.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. It's kind of blank. And then her lovely is very strong. It's like, lovely.
Yeah.
But it's almost like that's all she's got. There's no real grace to it. There's no little flip at the end. She just kind of, bam, goes through that heart. And she's given it all she's got. Mm-hmm. She's strong, but lacks grace, perhaps. Defeated by grace. And elegance. So, yeah, a yeoman's job, but I'm going to give him a 2.
Okay. I'll take it.
She'll take it.
Yeah, right, she will. For Subu or Dabu, where we talk about the most interesting differences between the sub and the dub. In the dub, Michiru's story about Adam and Eve sharing their first kiss was changed to a story about her first kiss with Brad, the, quote, cutest guy in school.
I've seen this on YouTube, and I almost like it better. Like I said, incomplete, no grade so far for all the biblical references that I'm hoping will pay off. But yeah, I've seen that on the internet, and it's so much worse. And by worse, I mean better. And I'm like pulling at my sleeves like Stefan right now because it has everything.
It really does.
It's so, you
should watch it if you haven't seen it.
There's stuff there that they didn't change the animation, but like I feel like I see even more things sort of pass between them because she's like, oh, my kiss with Brad.
She's
looking at Haruka.
Yeah.
Sadly, it implies that they can't be open about their love in their society, but it is in English. So, but anyway, there's just so much more going on. So that's the one time. Flip over to English for that. Back to the sub.
There you go. Now we're up to our rating. I do have some things about this episode that I do find troubling, like we talked about, like Unazuki building up her first kiss to be this big thing, and even Michiru kind of perpetuating that in some ways, being like, oh, it's really important. And
she's romantic, though.
She is. And I like that about her, but, but then, like, the weird defilement like idea too.
You don't want to kiss the wrong person and be dirty.
Oh, that you make it even.
Well, that's basically what they're saying.
That is basically what they're
saying. And then
saying.
you go in the barrel.
And see, I don't like that. I do really like the daemon, and her transformation is fantastic. I really like the battle in the junkyard. I think, Uranus, Neptune, and Sailor Moon just like fighting each other, like as they're fighting this daemon, I thought was really interesting. And I think that it's done really well. And it's just like, even like Mamoru is like, what the heck is going on here? So I really like that. I like how protective Usagi is of Unazaki, and how she will not let Neptune and Uranus take her pure heart. But I feel like I like the second half of the episode, like as soon as the daemon appears, like way more than the first half. And so it's, to me, it's like half a good episode, so I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 roses.
I think that's fair. I think that you are being judicious. This episode did everything that it could to earn a 1. It has earned a 1.
Ooh.
That being said, I'm giving it a 2.
Oh.
Here's why. We've had fun talking about it.
Yeah.
And that, there are episodes that I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
We just had one at all. But even though this episode tried to do 2 good things, but did them both kind of badly. One is to further the plot and the conflict of this season, which we're already hitting that point, and I realize now 2 and 1/4 of the way through the entire franchise that I'm just going to feel this way. We're going to set something up. We're going to go 1 or 2 episodes too far into what we're doing, and then something changes and it's amazing again, and we're already hitting the doldrums again. So it didn't really forward anything too much, although we did see kind of explicitly, like you said, that like the new scouts will fight the old scouts to finish their mission.
Yeah.
And also it tried to focus on a girl thing, which is what I like when the episodes do, but it had a really weird take on girl stuff this time. And so it tried to do 2 things, and it didn't do 2 things. This does not spark joy. But there were...
Thank you. Good day,
other
sir.
great parts. Great Yoma. Man, Horny Tumblr has to run with an episode like this, right? Everybody's putting hands on everybody else and trying to kiss people. And so a lot of ships are probably born out of this episode.
Yeah, I think so.
And there were some fun lines, and I also like the idea of Usagi. I wish they'd dug into this more, but Usagi tried to like hijack. Okay, if I have to go to these things, I'm going to hijack them, and we're going to do it with fun cakes. And then you'll see if I can study while I'm got a sugar crash going on. I like that idea. And we got to see Unazuki again. So, yeah, I got to be nicer than I would be and give it a 2.
My English title is First Kiss, Perfection of Dream.
Obsessed with Perfection of Dream.
Yes.
Yeah. My Cloverway title is Elephant in the Roomba. And I've already got the stickers ready here because I deserve that. For that.
For elephant in the Roomba.
Elephant in the Roomba.
Okay.
My sticker is, I was just downloading and uploading this to be my Twitter wallpaper today.
Nice.
It's the classic shot of the 5 sailor soldiers. The 5 sailor soldiers.
Yes.
In sort of the first season, sort of Tokyo Night.
Mm-hmm.
You know it if you see it.
Yeah.
It's my Twitter bio now, or whatever that is on Twitter, and now I've got a cool sticker of it I'm going to put right here on my computer.
Nice. Awesome.
Elephant in the Roomba.
Congratulations. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 95. Koi no otasuke wa Moon ni omakase in Japanese. Let Moon help with your love problems. The English translation and the English title, Blinded by Love's Light.
Blinded by Love's Light. A saying that we all remember from that old story. That what?
Yeah.
Blinded by the light.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I just gave away mine.
Yeah.
Revved up like a deuce. Another runner in the night. It's a song title. It's right up there. Am I going to have to get in my time machine and go back in time to the year 2000 and fix all this?
You might have to, because that's another pretty bad title.
It's not reminiscent of anything. If you said
It's also
like
clunky.
Love Light Blues, like you would have, okay, you've got a pattern, you have a thing that you do, you know, it's clunky. It doesn't refer, it's not an allusion to anything. And there better be some like lights in this episode. I don't know what the lights are going to be. A love light, a hot light, something. I don't know. But we won't know until the next episode.
That's right.
I got a few titles for you. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Gleeblebop. Some of these are not real titles. But if you look up some of the other ones, they're social networks, and we're on them, and we would ask you to join us. We want to see you, have you follow us, follow you back. Share your Sailor Moon moments with us. Share your Sailor Moon merchandise with us. I was looking at, let's say, account not to be named. Mm-hmm. Maybe if they follow us back, we'll name them. And they were showing some of the new statues that they got. Uh-huh. And like some of this stuff is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like I had like G.I. Joes when I was a kid.
Sure.
Like the little 3-inch ones, you know,
Right.
But some of the things, and it's little, they're not even for playing with.
No, they're not.
Like,
they're for display.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Right on the shelf right there.
Yep, exactly.
And they do look good.
Yeah.
So I want to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I do too. I want to see what everybody is collecting, and I think it's a really cool time. It's a fun time to be a Sailor Moon fan because there's a lot of stuff coming out. So there's lots of different things you can.
They got to find a way to make these things out of carve them out of wood or something that's carbon neutral. Sometimes I worry about the plastic.
Yeah.
Which shows no signs of abating.
Yeah.
But perhaps you could fashion out of soy or perhaps
really hard cheese.
Lacquered soy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Get the soy boy statue.
No, I don't want that.
Not that. But whatever that is. I don't know. But yeah, join us on those social media platforms. And of course, we mentioned Discord before. Join us there. There's a show link. There's a link in the show notes.
Got it.
Join us on Discord and let us know you're out there.
Well, that's our show for this week. And the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Elephant in the Room.